It's so good to have you along, Professor Dan Garrity, here at the Journalism Broadcast Center in our production control room, and we're getting ready for the Ask Professor Dan show. But before we start the game show, I wanted to give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look and explain a couple of things about the program. What you're going to be watching is an actual class project. It's a digital media experiment that we have designed to do a couple of things. We wanted to entertain you, we want to celebrate the Gonzaga mission, but we also want to identify relevant questions that you would like discussed. Say hello to Marissa Morrison. She's the producer of the show in my BRCO 203 class. Marissa, what are the questions that the cyber audience is going to be voting on tonight?
Well, Dan, we have three great questions for you. Our A question is, should NCAA athletes be paid to play? Our B question is, if Father Cataldo were here today, what would he think of Gonzaga? And our C question is, how has social media changed the dating scene? And to answer those, you just tweet at AskProfessorDan.
Excellent. I mentioned this is, after all, a class project for her.
Well, that'll be our final question.
To bring something new, to improve the show, what did your class bring to this program?
Well, this year we decided to have residence hall blocks represented on the show. And so we asked them to vote via Facebook for which show is represented, and those are the blocks that are represented today.
Excellent. They could win some big money. Now I want to introduce you to the guy who's literally calling all the shots back here. This is Colin McQuilkin, a senior graduating in May, and he's got a whole heck of a lot of help to carry out this program, right?
Yeah. I got a bunch of people here behind me, Seth McHugh and Fade, and we'll take a look at everybody. And you can see there right next to me, Nate Barmore, Stephen Carr next to him. They're taking care of the video aspects. Down on audio, Mika San Giacomo and Olivia Moser. Behind them on prompter, you'll see Robbie Harris. Next to him, you will see Tessa Laverne taking care of our social media. She's counting the votes. You guys already met Marissa. And then right next to her, behind me, is Mr. Adam Taylor on graphics. And now if we fade to the studio, take a look at our studio crew. We have there our camera operators in the back, Duran Posh, Spencer Ingram, and Callie Turgeon. There in the front on the left, you'll see Denny Hawkins. She's our scorekeeper. Our floor director, Mr. Daniel Gray, there on the left. And then in the back, you'll also see Nick Winstead. He will be our announcer. He will be the voice of the show tonight. But Dan, now it's back to you. Let's do this.
Excellent. Sure appreciate your time, and no matter whether you're watching us live in our viewing party over at Duff's, or whether you're here in the JB Center, or whether you're watching the replay on our YouTube channel, we sure appreciate your time. Let's get on with the show.
Dan, don't forget your hat.
Can't do the show without the funny hat. Thank you much. All right, God bless you, everybody. Let's make some television. Live from the Journalism Broadcast Center on the campus of Gonzaga University, GUTV presents the Ask Professor Dan show, the first real live cyber game show in the universe. Tonight, our contestants will be competing for a $500 grand prize. And to kick off the show, here's your host, the director of Gonzaga Broadcast Studies program, Professor Dan Garrity. Thank you very much, Nick, and welcome to the celebrity edition of the show. Let's meet the people who are going to try to guess which question you want us to answer so they can win some cash for their cyber networks. First off, say hello to outgoing men's basketball star Rob Sacre. He's representing the Quad Block, Campion, Welch, Alliance, and DeSmet. Next to him, the lovely Shannon Reeder from our women's basketball team. Thank you, Shannon, for classing up the joint. She's representing CM. And making his triumphant return to campus from the class of 2004, Richard Fox, a broadcasting major. He is now the color commentator at KHQ. Richard will be playing for the Midwest block. That's Dooley, Cushing, Cremont, Dillon, and Gawler. Now remember that these guys over here can't answer any of the questions. They are depending upon you. So you have to supply them the correct answers. Let's get started with question number 1. The class of 2015 was asked to read the book Tattoos on the Heart by Father Greg Boyle. I want you guys to name the foundation Father Boyle created in Southern California to help fight the gang problem there. All right, Richard Fox thinks he has the answer. What do you got?
Pretty confident here. Homeboy Industries.
Homeboy Industries, that is 1 point for Midwestern Block.
That's how we do
All
it.
right, next up, it's a video question. Here's Professor Joseph Mudd from Religious Studies.
Which building on Gonzaga's campus is named after the Pope who started the Second Vatican Council?
First.
All right, Rob. I think Rob Sacre was first. What do you got for quad block?
Well, I got Father Cataldo.
That is not correct. Richard, you were the second one to tap in.
Benedict the Eighth.
And that is incorrect as well. Shannon.
Pope John the 13th?
Well, everybody is wrong on that one. Holy mackerel. The correct answer, and the building the man was standing in front of, I thought that was going to get away. That's Roncalli. Yeah, the Giuseppe Roncalli changed his name to Pope John the 23rd when he was elected Pope. All right. Question number 3, take a look at your screen. This is the northwest entrance to College Hall. What I want you guys to do, translate the Latin inscription above the door. Do we have an answer?
No.
Nobody yet? Okay, we'll give you just a couple of more seconds there. And okay, Shannon, what do you got?
For God and country through sciences and medicine.
Who's that from?
Wrong.
And it is wrong.
For God and country through sciences and arts.
That is correct. Midwest taking a commanding lead. Well done, Mr. Fox. Core challenge question number 4. Here is Professor David Calhoun from philosophy.
What philosopher theologian offered 5 arguments for the existence of God, each of which end with the phrase, "and this we call God"?
Aristotle.
Rob Sacre, sorry.
Aristotle.
It is not Aristotle.
Guys. This is what people are sending me.
Yes,
man.
Shannon. It is Thomas Aquinas. There's a point for CM. All right, let's head to English class for our final question in the core challenge round. You no doubt, well, you won't remember this guy's picture, but you might remember the name Oscar Wilde. Our question is, how many novels did Oscar Wilde write?
It's a number, come on. Come on, guys.
Richard Fox.
No!
9. That is not correct.
Are you sure?
Let me double check. No, absolutely. You're off by quite a few.
Am I able to answer a second time?
No. I checked with our judges. They said no.
Come on.
Seconds left.
Come on.
Typing.
I think Shannon just beat you by a hair.
Mine didn't work.
Blame Home Depot. You what do you got, Shannon? 1. That's right. That's right. The picture of Dorian Gray. That was a must-read for the sophomore class. Hopefully it was a sophomore who gave you that one. All right, let's update the scores now.
Shannon with CM has 2 points. Richard, representing Midwest, has 2 points. Rob with the quad block is still looking to score. Coming up next, tonight's special guest lecturer, Father Craig Hightower. But first, we got a trivia question for our live audience in the JB Center. Ready for this one? Rob Sacre is a big dog person, literally and figuratively. Take a look at his furry pals. If you can name one of his pets, we have a prize for you. The answer when we come back. You're watching the Ask Professor Dan show on GUTV.